Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about hyperbola. So now we're going to build it from the basic hyperbola, which is y equal to a over x, and we're going to add plus q. In this session, we're going to evaluate what is the impact of the parameter q. What does it do to the shape of the hyperbola? And we're going to build it from the basic example that we had, which was y equal to 1 over x, and we're going to add 2. In this equation, we can see that q is equal to 2. So we're going to build it from the same example, and we're going to add here y equal to 1 over x plus 2. You can see we still have the same values. All we do, we add 2. So from here, we have minus 0.01, and we're going to add 2. So that means 2 minus 0.01, that is going to be 1.9 something. And we do the same thing here. 2 minus 0.1, we have 1.9. So what we're going to do, even from the graph, we're going to move 2 units up. The reason why I'm saying 2 units up is because for every value of y we had, regardless if it's negative or positive, we added 2 units to it. So we're going to do the same thing here. We add 2 units on every point that we have, meaning that every point is going to move 2 units up. And we're going to have something like that, right? And we go to the first quadrant. Even from the first quadrant, we're going to move every point 2 units up. So every point moves 2 units up because we added 2. And we have something like that. So we can see what is going on here. We notice even from here, from when we were doing the values, equating the values, we notice that for every value of y from the basic parabola, we added 2, because that's what the equation was saying. So you can see even from the graph that the graph shifted 2 units up. So from the graph, you can note what is happening. You can see that it shifted 2 units up. So we can already tell that the q value shifts the graph up or down. We're going to get to down, but from the example, we already saw that it can shift the graph up. So depending on the sign of q can be greater than 0 and q can be less than 0. We already saw when q is greater than 0 that the graph shifts upwards. What else can we note here? We also spoke about the asymptotes, right? We said it's the line that the graph never touches but gets close to. In this example now, we can note that, oh, we have that line, but we just need to draw it. You can see here, the graph shifted. There's this line we can never touch. Okay, something like that. And we know what that line is because remember we shifted 2 units. You can see that this graph never gets to 2. Never gets to 2. Then that means the value of q is also telling us about the asymptote. But what asymptote is it telling us? Remember we had y and x asymptote, and we said the y is the horizontal because it cuts the x-axis. And then we said the x is the vertical asymptote. So what changed here? You can see that the horizontal asymptote changed. You see, this is where the graph cuts the y-axis. So we had y equal to 0 before and x equal to 0. And we said this was our horizontal asymptote. And this was our vertical asymptote. So now we can see what changed here is the horizontal asymptote, which is the y asymptote. You can see that it moved from y equal to 0 to y equal to 2, which is also y equal to q. So q is not only shifting the graph, but also shifts the asymptotes. We had y equal to 0 as our asymptote. Now y is equal to q. So the asymptote, the value of q is also the equation of the horizontal asymptote. And then what else changed here? We also had the axis of symmetry. And we said the axis of symmetry for the basic graph is y equal to x and y equal to minus x, which we found they were crossing by that point. Right? You can see that now we have a new graph, which is the white line. So I'm going to take the white chalk. So from here, you can see that now, since the graph has shifted, since your graph has shifted, even your equation of symmetry shifts, your axis of symmetry shifted. And you can see now they are crossing by that point, the asymptote point, where y is equal to 2. Now you are no longer crossing your point at 0 is to 0. You are crossing 0 is to 2. That means you have a new equation. And we're going to use the equation y equal to mx plus c, or you can use y minus y1 is equal to m of x minus x1. And now you know already that your gradient is still 1. We're going to start with the positive gradient. So we have x here minus x1 now is still 0. And then we take this one on the other side, it's going to be positive 2. And you can see that y is equal to x plus 2. And for the other equation, you're going to have, for the second equation, you have y equal to minus x plus 2. Because the gradient changed. You can see that this is q. Right? Not only does q shift the graph up, now we know that q shifts the graph up, and it also influences your asymptote and also changes your axis of symmetry. So when given this equation, you should be able to detect what is happening. By looking, you should already tell, oh, okay, from this value of q, I have a new asymptote, which is y equal to q. And also, my axis of symmetry changes because now I have a new point, which is 0 and 2. Therefore, my y-intercept of the graph also will change. And also, you can see that, oh, okay, my graph is shifting up and also the new asymptote. And now, something else we talked about, we also talked about the range. And from the basic graph, which is the pink graph here, we had y is the element of real numbers, but y cannot be equal to 0. And this was your asymptote. Now that you have a new asymptote, which is y equal to q, and in this case is equal to 2, your domain also will change. You also will have y is the element of real numbers, but y cannot be equal to your asymptote, which in this case is equal to 2. So y cannot be equal to 2. And that's it. So the value of q is very important. It just changes everything we spoke about. Not really change the concept, but it's changing the values. So you should take note that. But you notice that q has nothing to do with the x asymptote, which is a vertical asymptote. Therefore, the domain will still remain the same. X is the element of real numbers, and x should not be equal to 0 because the vertical asymptote, which is the x equation, did not change. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about using GeoGebra. So like I did on the example, we had y equal to 1 over x. We're not going to touch the a value. I want you to note what happens when I introduce a positive q value. So you can see that the asymptote, which is the blue line, the horizontal asymptote, changes. And you can see that's what it does. It changes your asymptote. It also changes the graph. That is, it's going to shift 2 units up. what happens when it's negative? So we go back to 0, and you can see that when Q is negative, it shifts downwards. And that's all you need to know. You're going to shift your graph by the value of Q. When it's negative, you shift it downwards. And when it's positive, you shift it upwards. And then from there, you can work out your axis of symmetry and your asymptotes. And then I want to show you what I was talking about when I said the axis of symmetry also changes. So let's go back to when Q was 0. So you can see the axis of symmetry, this line here and the pink line here. Those are your axis of symmetry. So immediately I change the Q value. You see they're also moving, and Q was equal to 2. And they are crossing that point. And hence I said the axis of symmetry will also change, because now your graph is no longer symmetrical by the line y equal to x, but by the line equal to y equal to x plus 2. Right? Because this changed now, your point. And then when it's negative, it also changes. You see that your axis of symmetry, it also moves with your asymptote. This is all the influence of Q. Now you can see that Q has an influence on your axis of symmetry and on your asymptote and on your domain. The range. So that's what you need to know about Q. And then we're going to move on to P. Thank you for watching. Please do comment down below on what you would want to see on other videos. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you on the next video.